Hello everyone. Hello everyone. We will start the webinar. And hello ladies and gentlemen to the moderators, speakers and participants here. How are you? I hope you're well. And today is the first day of the new month, which is August. I hope in this new month we will stay healthy and full of happiness. And our hopes that have not been achieved can be achieved in this month. Thank you for joining to Indonesian-Cambodia Youth Initiative Program ICYIP 2021 on season 9. We will talk about we will on decision 9 we will talk about how Indonesia and Cambodia develop their program and policy on forest and peatland restoration in the midst of environmental destruction. And before we start the webinar, let me to inform you about our schedule for today. First, we will listen the opening remarks from Mr. Janly Emmanuel Bagensa as the Executive Director of Ruang International. And the second, we will listen the introduction speaker from our moderator. She is Ms. Tifashala Adapviota as the Human Resource Manager of Ruang International Indonesia. And the third, we will listen our keynote speaker presentation from Indonesia. He is Mr. Lubendik Sigalingging as a researcher, lecturer, consultant, activist, Indonesia Peatland and Mangrove Restoration Agency. And after we hear the presentation from our keynote speaker, and then we have interaction with keynote speakers. And after that, if anyone have a question to all participants, you could text and write on the text box. And the fourth, we will listen our speaker from Cambodia. He is Mr. Sam Sopik, as an international relations student at Panasastra University of Cambodia, and as a journalism intern at Cambodia to leader a warrior camp. And after that, we heard the presentation. And after we hear the presentation from our speakers from Cambodia, we have interaction also with our speakers. To all participants, if you have any question, you could text on text box on below. And the fifth, we will listen our speakers from Indonesia, Mr. Rudi Kogoya, as an international relations student at Universitas Kristen Indonesia and researchers at Ruang International Young Thinkers Association. And after that, we will have the interaction also with our speakers from Indonesia. If anyone, to all speakers here, if you have any question, you could writing on the text below. And then seventh, we will have Q&A session. And to all participants could ask the question to all speakers here. And the last, we will listen closing remarks from Mr. Janly as Executive Director of Ruang International Indonesia. And please stay in this room because we will have photo session after that. And please to Mr. Janly to give the opening remarks. Thank you.
Thank you for this opportunity, Miss Aprilia Demarani. Hello, everyone. Good afternoon, all. Welcome to Indonesia-Cambodia Youth Initiative Program organized by Ruang International. I would like to, on behalf of Ruang International, I would like to thank you very much to all the speakers, especially for our keynote speaker, Mr. Lubendik, Mr. Sam Sopik as the Cambodian speakers, and Mr. Rudi Kogoya as the Indonesian speakers. They come from a different countries, but I think they have one concern to talking in our next webinar session. As your information, our Indonesia Cambodia Youth Initiative Program has running uh, at about nine session with various topic that related with Cambodia and Indonesia, and also as the regional issues in Southeast Asia. And this program helped us to understanding all the regional issues or maybe the domestic issues that happen in Indonesia and also that happen in Cambodia. And also, we looking forward for the interaction from all youth, especially from the both countries, between Indonesia and Cambodia youth, Cambodian youth, so they can uh, do something or maybe have many opportunity to to cooperate and to do something related with this issue. And also, uh, in this webinar session, we are talking about the highlight is environmental issues, and also the specific topic we'll be talking about how Indonesia and Cambodia develop their program and policy on forest and peatland restoration in the midst of environmental destruction. As we know, these issues is the low issues or maybe not popular, but sometimes this issue um, will be the important issue because as we know, um, some country or some region in our country have a, a crucial problem to facing these issues. So we hope uh, by this webinar we can get more experience and more knowledge about this issue and about all the problems that happen in Indonesia and Cambodia and how all the young generation to take a role and take the something to also to uh, give some effort to facing this issue. And I think we are come from many background, like as a student, like uh, a worker, like and also other background. And we hope this webinar will be give you all the valuable and insightful experience and knowledge for all participants. That's all from us. Thank you very much. Enjoy the discussion. And I give this time to space to Miss Aprilia. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Jenly, for the opening remarks. And now we return to, I want to introduce our moderator. Okay, thank you. Our moderator, she is Tifal Syahla Abdafiota. Uh, she is a human resource manager, Ruang International Indonesia, and she also as a research and development and Amnesty International Indonesia chapter, UIN Jakarta, and you also as a EAMI, IMAG, an Asian mentor, and she is also a freelance English and Persian language teacher at linguo.id. And last, she is also is a Mean Scholarship Award of International Studies Club in Islamic State University of Sharif Hidayatullah Jakarta 2021. And now it's time for us to start our webinar, which will be led by our moderator, Ms. Tifal. Time is yours.
Okay, thank you so much. Is my voice clear? Am I audible? Okay, thank you so
Yeah,
much to Miss MC, to Miss Aprilia for having me. Thank you so much for having me. I'm Tifal Shalaptafiota. You can call me Tifal in short, and it is such a precious chance to be moderator for today's discussion. Before we start, I'd like to remind you all kindly to turn your camera on because I want to see your beautiful faces. And I want to make sure that you mute your microphone for the conductivity during the presentation from our speakers today. Okay, so it is a very lovely weekend in it, and we're supposed to have our holiday. But thank you so much for sacrificing your weekend on this discussion to be more productive and innovative. As we have been facing the pandemic of COVID-19 for the last 2 years, and the thing that we have to be grateful is we can be surviving and breathing freely for for so far. And okay, welcome to all participants who have attended on time and even in time, and we really appreciate that. And special welcome to our speakers today, Mr. Lubendik Sigalinggi, Mr. Sam Sopi, and Mr. Rudy Kogoya. As Indonesian and Cambodia Youth Initiative Program, or ICYIP 2021, has been running for the last 2 months, and we barely noticed that we are now in the main session. And our today's discussion, we have a topic around environment with the title, How Indonesia and Cambodia Develop Their Program and Policy on the Forest and Peatland Restoration in the midst of environmental destruction. And in the last few months and last year, we have heard about the climate change, globalization, carbon footprint, deforestation, burning of forest, which is mostly caused by the human activities. And currently, we have a problem in Turkey, for example, the burning of the forest, and we have to send a prayer so everything is gonna be healed. And those cases needed to be solved. And I guess in this discussion, we will find the definition and what is going on, and definitely the solution towards how develop program and policy on the forest and peatland restoration in the midst of environmental destruction. Before moving forward to the main session, I'd like to introduce our speakers for today. Okay, let me introduce our speakers for today. Okay. Okay, so we have our keynote speaker. The first is Mr. Lubendik Sigalinging. Okay, he is a researcher, lecturer, consultant, and activist that concern on development issues, environmental governance, and sustainability and conflict resolution. He is also a bachelor degree in sociology from Indonesia and master degree from School of Political Science and International Studies at the University of Queensland. And he worked more than 10 years in various issues and institutions from the NGOs and universities, government agency, and the United Nations. And also he's working for Peatland and Mangrove Restoration Agency. Maybe I'd like to greet first Mr. Lubendik. Hello, Mr. Lubendik, are you here?
Hello, Miss Tifal. I'm good. Thank you for asking.
Okay. Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Lubendik. And as we have seen that Mr. Lubendik has been here, thank you so much for coming here. Okay, as we know, the first keynote speaker is Mr. Lubendik, and we move forward to the next speaker. Okay, the second speaker can be swapped to the next slide. Okay, for the second speaker, we have a speaker from Cambodia. It is Mr. Sam Sopti. He is a bachelor student in international relations at Pana Sastra University of Cambodia. He is also now interning in journalism at Cambodia, and he is a tour leader in Warrior Camp Cambodia, and he is a youth debate mentor in Cambodia. Okay, I'd like to check in first. Okay, Miss Sam, are you here?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, great. How are you, Mr. Sam?
Yes, I'm fine. How about you?
I'm fine. Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Sam, for coming here. Okay, as we know, we have we are already welcoming our second speaker, Mr. Sam. Thank you so much for coming here. Okay, for the next speaker. For the next speaker is from Indonesia. Okay, for Indonesian speaker, we have Mr. Rudy Kogoya. He is an international relations researcher at Ruang International Young Thinkers Association. And he is also a bachelor student in international relations at Universitas Kristen Indonesia, and he is also part of research and development division at the International Relations Student Association of Universitas Kristen Indonesia. And also he is a general secretary of Cendrawasih Student Association. Okay, maybe we can greet our Indonesian speaker. Mr. Rudy, are you here? Okay, how are you, Mr. Rudy? All fine?
Thank you.
Okay, great. Thank you, Mr. Rudy. Okay, we already have had our guest today, our special guest today, who's gonna give a presentation. But I'd like to remind you guys that we gonna have a Q&A session, which is gonna be at the end of our session. So make sure that you have your question in you and you can immediately just give the question in the chat box, or you can just immediately unmute the microphone. Okay, let's move forward to our session. This is the session that we are waiting for. But firstly, I'd like to welcome to the keynote speaker from Mr. Lubendik. Okay, from Mr. Lubendik, time is yours.
Thank you, Tifal. Good afternoon, everyone. Can you hear my voice clearly?
Yes, we can hear you clearly.
Okay. Okay, thank you for this opportunity, and actually this is a new for me about the Ruang Internasional, yeah, or maybe International Room. And last year I have know about this organization from Jianli, and thank you also for today for the invitation to speak in this room, yeah. And I hope you still stay healthy in this pandemic era. And I'm very grateful that youth have a good cooperation between Indonesian youth and also Cambodian youth. Actually, that's a good good intention for you as an international relations student to start as to start your movement in develop the relationship with our neighbor. Okay, so this is the topic that Jianli gave to me a few days ago about the Indonesia develop their program and policy on forests and peatland restoration in the midst of environmental destruction. Yeah, okay, as you may know, Indonesia is has many forest land and also peatland, even in the world, yeah. And I have the data, and I will talk about this issue about the forest in Indonesia and also peatland in Indonesia with 6 outline. Firstly, I will talk about the forest in Indonesia, the forest condition, and then secondly, I will share about the primary forest loss, or maybe the forestation, and the third one about the forest policy that Indonesia has done until today, yeah. And then fourth, I will talk about the peatland in Indonesia, and also the classification of peatland, and the last one about the peatland governance. This is I will share about the peatland policy and also the mechanism of peatland restoration that has been done in Indonesia since 2016 until now. Okay, forest in Indonesia, as you may know, I have mentioned before, Indonesia has a lot of forests, and in 2020, based on the Ministry of Environmental and Forestry data, Indonesia has about 95.6 million hectare forested area, and actually this data always change every year, yeah, and 95 million, actually this is the last data, yeah, so from 2020. And then I will try to explain about the change of Indonesia forested area, because as you see in this presentation, from year 20 and to 2017, Indonesia has lost natural forested, yeah, about maybe over 23 million hectares. So we can conclude that at least about 1.1 million to 1.4 million hectare per year, Indonesia has lost their natural forest. This is a huge number actually when we talk about the forest in Indonesia as the lung of the world, yeah, and many causes, many factors that cause the Indonesia deforestation, maybe about the timber, the logging industry that happened in Indonesia since 1980, and also in 1967, this is actually the first policy of Indonesia that exploit the natural resources in Indonesia since the Suharto era, about the mining exploration in Indonesia. And then this is the data changes also that I found in 2015. As you may see in this slide, so we can sum up from this forest area in 2015. Indonesia actually have about the 126 million hectares. Yeah, this is the data in 2015, and in 2020 we only have 95 million. Okay, you can see the different data and also the changes of forest area in Indonesia year by year. Yeah, and in Indonesia actually we classified type of forest, yeah, from the protected forest, limited production forest, convertible production forest, so and also conservation forest, and also limited production forest. So this classified of forest actually they are convertible production forest. Actually, the company can use this forest for the forestry industry, yeah, like for timber and also for maybe for the plantation also, yeah, like for palm oil and also many kind of forest product in this convertible production forest. Okay, and then the result of the regulation from the government of Indonesia that give the convertible forest production. This is, you can see this causes the forest loss in Indonesia. Yeah, and this is data from the World Resources Institute from 2002 and 2017. Yeah, you can see almost every year we lost many primary forest loss. Yeah, so it means like the forest cover has lost, yeah, in every year. Yeah, you can see the chart in this context. Yeah, at least more than 400 400,000 hectares has lost every year. Yeah, and you can see also the the tallest one is about the almost 1 million hectares per year. Yeah, in 2016. This is also caused by the forest fire in 2015. You can see also almost about the 700,000 hectares of forest loss. So you can compare also this primary forest loss in Indonesia with the top 10 countries primary forest loss in the world. Yeah. So as you can see, Brazil is the top #1 primary forest loss, almost more than 1.6 million hectares per year, and also followed by Democratic Republic of Congo, and then Bolivia and Indonesia is #4, yeah, in the top 4 for the 2020 primary forest loss. And you can see also our neighbor here, Laos, and also Malaysia also has many primary forest loss, yeah. And then what Indonesia has done for their forests, yeah. So I tried to collect some regulation regarding the forest policy in Indonesia, and this is the first basic forestry law that I have mentioned before about the law #4, 1967. Actually, this forestry law unfortunately not focused on the conservation, but try to emphasize or focus on timber management. So no wonder we can see since that era, the timber in many forests in Indonesia has been exported to the developed countries. Yeah. And then in 1967, also the start of the exploitation of natural resources in Indonesia. And 1967 also the American company Freeport started their exploration of gold in Papua. And then in 1999, after the Suharto fall down, the Indonesian government issued the forestry law. This is the law #41, 1999. So in this regulation, the Indonesian government tried to conserve their forestry, and they also try to divide the forest into 3 categories, yeah, conservation forest, and then protection forest, and production forest. And in conservation and also protection forest, the industry or maybe the industry or maybe the plantation companies cannot use that forest. And then the production forest, the company still can manage or maybe can cultivate the timber or maybe the other forest product from the production forest. And then the the progress of forestry management in Indonesia also accommodated by the president in this regime, yeah, especially in the Joko Widodo regime, and by issued the presidential decree #16, 2015. So at the time, the President Joko Widodo tried to merge 2 ministry, yeah, the Ministry of Environment and also the Ministry of Forestry become 1 ministry. And this issue is actually try to integrate the relationship about the environmental issues and also the forestry issues. So it will be it is be managed by the 1 ministry until right now. Okay, and then we have also the villages law number 16 in 2015. Actually, this is we call it the Undang-Undang Desa, ya, village law. And in village law, actually the village have the authority to manage their own asset, ya, include the natural resources and also the village forest in the surrounding area, ya. And from this law, the villagers also can get the revenue if they conserve or maybe if they manage their forest area, and then they will get the funding from the government and also sometimes from the international donors, yeah, by doing carbon market. Okay, and then the last one is the law of number 23 about the regional governance. Actually, this law, this regulation is trying to manage the natural resource management, because previously the local government can manage directly the natural resource management, like to issue the permit of mining, the permit of forestry, and many things related to natural resource management. And as a result of that regulation, many deforestation occurred in the before this regulation issued. So that's why the central government tried to take again the issue of the management of natural resources to the central government, yeah, and also to to national level government. So the provincial and also the district government could not issue the permit related to natural resource management anymore. Okay, and then I moved to the peatland in Indonesia. The peatland in Indonesia, actually, Indonesia is the second world tropical peatland in Indonesia, and we have Indonesia has more than 15 to 21 million hectares of peatland, and this peatland consists of many carbons. So the central government and also the local community and the other stakeholders has to protect the peatland. Okay, I will talk about the classification of peatland. Maybe the peatland is the specific issue, and maybe some of you have not heard about the peatland issues. Okay, the classification of peatland. So I will talk into 5 categories. First one is about the peat maturity. This is the peat maturity, and we have the gambut matang or maybe the saprik, yeah, and hemic, the half gambut, and also the raw peat, it's called fibric. And then the second one is the peat fertility. This is the eutrophic, mesotrophic, and oligotrophic. And then the peatland cause of the formation environment, and this is the peatland that causes because the ondrogen from the rain, yeah, the source of the rain, and also from the topogen, yeah, from the coastal area. And the location also, we can see the peatland. You can find the peatland in the forest land and also in the between the coastal and also forest land, and also peat that situated in the coastal areas, yeah. And also in Indonesia, you can also find the depth of peatland. We can see here the depth of peatland is less than 50 centimeter, and less than 50 centimeter, we call it the tanah bergambut or maybe the peatland. And also we have the gambut dangkal, yeah, 50 to 1 meter, 50 centimeter to 1 meter, and also gambut sedang, and also gambut dalam, and also gambut sangat dalam, ya, gambut sangat dalam. It means that the peatland is more than 3 meters, the depth. Okay, so as you may know, maybe almost every year, also Indonesia experience the forest fire, and peatland is one of the causes that makes the forest fire become longer than at least more than 1 month to 3 months. The fire could be stay in that area. So this is the driver of the tropical peatland degradation. The first one is the logging, yeah. Because of the logging, many companies try to do logging since the 1980s in Indonesia. Both legal logging and also illegal logging. This is as a causes of the tropical peatland degradation. And then many peatland being converted to other land use, yeah, like the plantation and farming and etc. Yeah, and then before the companies start to do logging or maybe to do plantation, usually they construct of the drain canals. So the peatland has to be drained in the first time. So the drain canal can be cause of the tropical peatland degradation, and also, and of course, after the drain peatland happen, it will cause the fires, yeah, the fires or maybe the forest fires, and then as a result, the peatland will be degraded, yeah. So this is the four things that becomes the drivers of tropical peatland degradation. Okay, so what is the impacts of the tropical peatland degradation? There are several impacts of tropical peatland degradation. As you can see, of course, the loss of the ecosystem balance. So there is no balance anymore in ecosystem in the peatland area, yeah, like in Sumatra, Kalimantan, and also in Papua. And of course, biodiversity loss. As for your information, many biodiversity in peatland, yeah, area. Orang utan is very comfortable to live in peatland in Kalimantan, yeah, and also many the endemic bird, yeah, the endemic bird that also live in the peatland, and also maybe a tiger and many kind of the unique animals that becomes extinct, yeah, right now. Okay, and the other impacts, of course, the flood risk, yeah, in rainy season. As you may know, in Sumatra and also in Kalimantan, in the last few years, many floodings at this time, yeah. As you may know, also last year, yeah, in South Kalimantan, the floodings is very dangerous, yeah. So this is also because the degradation of tropical peatland happen in that area. And also the peatland and peat forest fire also become the impacts in the dry season, of course, because the peat, because this is the peat consists of the plant, yeah, or maybe tumbuh-tumbuhan, the plant that has lived for, I think, 5,000 years and to 10,000 years. So if the companies or maybe the communities that live surrounding the peatland try to make the drain peatland, so by using canals, so it will cause the peatland becomes dry, so becomes like the, what we call it, the dry wood, yeah, the wood dry, yeah, like kayu kering, yeah. So this is actually the flammable. So that's why in the dry season in Indonesia, the human try to light the smoke, yeah, in that area, the cigarette, and then this is very easily for the peatland to be become flame, to become a fire at the time. And then the last one, of course, after we got the forest fire, the peatland degradation, of course, it will impact our socioeconomic and also the health costs. As you might know, also in the 2015, the forest fire in Indonesia that happened in the 2.6 million hectares, it will cause many the socioeconomic factors and also the health costs, yeah. And you can see at the time many schools has been closed, yeah, and also the flight also could not the plane could not fly at the time, and also closed border from our neighbors, yeah, and also we send the smoke or maybe the haze to our neighbors, to Singapore, to Brunei, and also the Malaysia. And also the health costs, this is experienced by the local communities especially in the Sumatra peoples and also the Kalimantan peoples, yeah. So they got the ISPA, yeah, the health issue in their in their lung, yeah. Especially this is very critical for the children. Okay, so what the Indonesian government has to do with this tropical peatland? Actually, the Indonesian government has several regulation, yeah, to address these issues. And in 2016, we have the regulatory umbrella. So the peatland management and protection, this is covered by the government regulation number 57 of 2016. And then in 2016, also the president issued the Peatland Restoration Agency, yeah. And until now, it still happen, yeah, the Peatland Restoration Agency. And then it added by the mangrove also, yeah, mangrove restoration. And then in 2017, there was presidential instruction about the moratorium on primary forest and also the peatland conversion. Actually, this moratorium has been issued since the Susilo Bambang Yudhoyono era, and in Jokowi era, the regulation is the extended, yeah, by the President Joko Widodo. And then in the right side, you can see the technical implementation, how the government tried to do the technical implementation to address the peatland issues, yeah. Okay, and then this is the new agency. This is the Peat and Mangrove Restoration Agency. This is also issued by the President Joko Widodo, issued the Presidential Regulation number 120 of 2020. And basically, this agency is the extension of the Peat Restoration Agency. And currently, they have two big tasks, yeah, to try to restore the peatland area in 7 provinces, yeah, from Riau, Jambi, South Sumatra, West Kalimantan, Central Kalimantan, South Kalimantan, and also Papua. And the second ones, this agency also tried to rehab the mangrove, yeah, in the 9 provinces, from the North Sumatra to West Papua province. Okay, I go back to the technical implementation about how Indonesian government mechanism to restore peatland. Actually, in my agency, yeah, we use this mechanism. Use the 3 R's, yeah, the 3 R's. The R number 1 is the rewetting peatlands. So the drain peatlands that are caused by the using canal, yeah. So we try to do rewetting peatland by construct the canal blocking. So we try to block the canal that has been created by the companies. And then we try to do canal backfilling. This is, we try to cover the canal by using the you can see the machine, yeah, that you can see in the left side picture, yeah, the canal backfilling, and also the deep wells. Deep wells is the sumur bores, yeah, sumur bore, yeah. So we try to construct deep wells in the many areas that prone to fire. And the R number 2 is the revegetation. So we try, after we do rewetting, so we try to do replanting, yeah, by doing nursery seedlings, seedling transplantation, and also the natural regeneration. Why natural regeneration? Because many the area after the forest fire, they are also what growth the endemic plant, yeah, in their area, like the yeah, many things, yeah, in that area, that many plant in the former forest fire areas, yeah. Okay, and then the R3 is the revitalization of local livelihoods. So this is basically, we aim to increase the income of the local people that live surrounding peatland. So we try to give them incentive by doing like participatory local livelihood, yeah. And then we try to do like best land based. For instance, we ask the local communities to plant the polyculture, yeah, like sagu palm, gelam, swam taro, etc. And also we try to to do the agricultural without burning the land, yeah. And then the second one, the water based. This is the aquaculture, like the fisheries, yeah. And also the last one is the environmental service based. This is the ecotourism and also the carbon market. And then this is the mechanism, or maybe the approaches that we try to address the drain peatland in the last few years. Okay, thank you. That's for all until now, and I welcome the Q&A from all of you. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much to Mr. Lubenik, who has already given the explanation. Wow, that's very cool. I'd like to appreciate that. And I got a lot of insightful information and knowledge from that. Okay, maybe from those explanations that you have conveyed to us, like the forest in Indonesia, the tropical peatland degradation, and also like what's actually happening, like the policies in Indonesia from the government, and also the technical implementation for solving the problem degradation in Indonesia. Okay, maybe we have some questions, but because of the time, the limitation of time that we have, maybe I'd like to ask a questions. It is from Albert Najuan. Okay, I'm gonna read it. As a country with the lungs of the world, how can it survive when in fact the government is actually industrializing forest areas in Indonesia, such as the palm oil industry in Papua and the capital city development in Kalimantan? How can we address this? Okay, maybe to Mr. Lubendik, you can directly answer it.
Okay, thanks for the question, Vival, from the Albert Najuan. Yeah, actually the natural resources, and in this context, the forest and also the peatland, there is also the political issues, yeah, politic and economics issues in this context, yeah. So when the government try to issue many regulation, the government also has to have the political will, yeah, the political will to conserve their forests and to conserve their peatland. And the regulation, in my opinion, is not enough. So in my opinion, I prefer the government has to have the political will, yeah, to address these issues, because if the government always try to emphasize to take the benefit from the forest and the peatland by give the permit to the corporations, so the benefit in my opinion is only maybe for 20 years, yeah, 20 or maybe 25 years. The government or the Indonesian get the benefit, but after that we get many loss, yeah, like the forest fire that we experience until now, and the cost is very costly compared to the benefit that the Indonesian got from the corporations. So the political will from the national governments and also the local governments is the key to address these issues. That's my question.
Okay, thank you so much to Mr. Lubenik, who has already given the explanation and the answer, also the opinion. I hope that can answer your questions, Albert Najuan, as we have a Q&A session in the last of the session. Maybe if you have any questions, you can just immediately ask that in the last session. Thank you so much again and again to Mr. Lubenik, who already gave the explanation in the presentation. Okay, we move forward to the next session. We have presentation from our Cambodia speaker, from Mr. Sam Sophie. Okay, maybe for Mr. Sam Sophie, the time is yours.
So how can I share the slide? Everyone see my slide now?
Yes.
Yes. Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for this session. And I would like to profoundly thank you to everyone and to organizer the room international that give me chance to learn and share my perspective how Cambodian restore forestation and what is the issue that Cambodian lost the forest and what are the benefits of the forest to Cambodian government and also the local community as well. And forests are important to human, but when the people over exploit, they impose a serious threat to the forest and turn back to the people. It's a circle of negative impact to human. And in addition, the deforestation will lead to more natural disaster that you know, the shortage of oxygen and an increase in carbon dioxide in the air, especially the loss of vital natural resources. And people living depend on oxygen and find fresh air, but it could not be destroy our environment. So what are the factors that Cambodian lost the forest? There are few main reasons that Cambodian lost the forest, such as the population growth. The population growth can lead to an increase in demand for domestic timber, housing, furniture, cabinet, chair, and firewood. Growing demand for cultivated land. They need a land to build a house and to farm their agriculture in order to survive, because many rural people depend on their agriculture product, such as field of rice, cassava, rubber, so they need a land. And some they burn wood into a charcoal to sell, because it is their small business. They cultivate the land to do agriculture. And this is a reason that we lost our tree as well. Timber requirements for business. it is illegal action to cutting the tree to make a business, and a lot of tree was destroyed under this reason in the past. And Cambodian lost nearly 2.2 million hectares of the tree cover between 2001 and until 2018. Yes, we lost a lot in the past. So after that, since our government strategy reform to conserve forests, because we get a lot of interest from conservative rather than cutting, so they convert many places into a conservative, such as Peatland, Kausima, Kiridom, Num Tabang, and many places to protect wildlife, biodiversity, and to find income for local community. And the protected area system established by Royal Decree divided into 4 categories. First, national parks. National park area system established by the Royal Decrees and protected for scientific education and entertainment purpose. Second, wildlife sanctuary. The area preserved in their natural condition to protect wildlife, vegetation, and ecological balance. Third, protected landscape. The areas to be maintained as science spot for leisure and tourists. And the last one, multi-purpose use area, are necessary for stability of water, forestry, wildlife, and fishery resources for pleasure and for the conservation of natural, while allowing some economic development. And this is the 4 category that Cambodian protected the forest. So what are the benefits of the forest to local and our government? Actually, Cambodian has sold carbon credits to major international companies from 2016 to 2020 for $11.6 million. And the Ministry of Environment consider the sale of carbon credit to be a source of pride for Cambodia. And this is a success in the sale of carbon credits into the global voluntary market. And currently, there is a protected area of 7.3 million hectares, or about 41% of Cambodian, which is a source of carbon, which can be simply called fresh air. And a lot of forests are not counted to be a source of carbon yet, and this is in the processing. So, in fact, the benefits of the RED Plus project at Kausima Wildlife Sanctuary benefit to 20 villages, each of which receive between $10,000 per year. And the RED Plus project benefit to reduce deforestation, reduce biodiversity loss, and to improve local livelihood through the use of RED Plus benefit allocation budget to supplement the community investment plan project. And by selling the carbon, a lot of local community and a lot of government can gain many benefit and economic in terms of selling carbon credit. So the community also benefit from collecting the non-timber products, including honey, bamboo shoot, mushroom, and also the wood for medicine and other products. For example, like Old Tanang community that located in Kranti province that cover 633 hectares. The forest is set for the place where the local people can manage the forest and collect non-timber product without fear. And those a lot of income from daily spending that they came from the non-timber product. The local community can get a lot of from it as well. And another example, the forest and nature are a source of tourists. Actually, Honsal used to be a lodger, but now Honsal is patrolling the forest to monitor and crack down on illegal logging. Actually, he was to cut the tree and then put on the tractor to sell on the mountain. And someday his wife worry about his life and his safety as well, because it is illegally. But in terms of survival, he need to do that. However, he used to collect from the non-timber product that used in traditional medicine and for tourists who love nature in the forest, where he's better known than anyone else. He sells traditional medicine for $20 per kilogram. And his service fee for guiding nature tourists is about $20 per day and $30 for his tractor. And many tourists that come to his community, we have to spend 2 nights and 3 days. Therefore, he can get $90 for 3 days and 2 nights. So it means he used to be a lodger, but now he is a conservative person to protect the wildlife and to protect the forest in his community, because he gained a lot of money, a lot of benefit to his family as well. So what should we do in order to protect our forest in Cambodia? Actually, government, NGO, and youth in Cambodia now are together hard working to protect our human resource. The government also use hard strategy. It means the focus on law implementation. The forestry law also implement and strictly. However, it still has some case that the local community or the local people still cutting the tree. Therefore, the government use soft strategy that is more effective rather than hard strategy. Motivation, training, sponsoring, and advertising campaign to the youth, to the tourists, and to the active, environmental active as well. So the Cambodian government also have a training, a debate forum for youth that they come from the high school and then they debate about the environment, the forestry in Cambodia. And this is a strategy of advertising campaign as well. So our royal government has made effort to strengthen forest protection strategy through the capacity building of park ranger. We have a lot of park ranger that they are closely work locally in the community. They protect the forest. And community also involvement strategic partnership. Partnership with partner organization to achieve effort natural resources protected and conservative. And also many environmental activists also acknowledge and valued by our government as well. For example, like Mr. Ben. Mr. Ben, he is a foreigner, but he lives in Cambodia in Songkhum Thamay. He spent his life with his family in the forest. He protects the forest from the illegal cutting. Therefore, our government has appreciated certification to him, and we are really appreciate what he did for our Cambodian as well. And many youth in Cambodian also get value from our government, and this is a strategy to promote our environmental protection as well. And many NGOs also involved as well, like for example WWS. WWS has cooperated with the Ministry of Environment to support 18 community areas in protecting areas in Mandaluyong to help improve the lives of people through technical training and support the creation of new business. WWS also work hard and work closely with our government to sponsor, to train the local community how to protect those areas and how to support their daily living as well. Another example, Medmala. Medmala actually she is 21 years old, and she has become the first female community leader in Phnom Trip Sam protected area of Prelong Wildlife Sanctuary in Pravihir province. It's far away from the Phnom Penh city. She not access to her high school. She dropped the school, but she turned to be a She has selected to be a community leader in Phnom Penh. And she said that I patrol the forestry to 5 times a month. Each time I walk for 10 kilometers at least from dark till dawn. Some day I sleep in the forest. She is a woman and she is a young girl, but she can spend her life to protect the forest in Peatland at her community. Really appreciate her as well. And she said that I want to see people in the community enjoy nature and understand more about natural resource conservation. And she has succeeded in the preventing some forest crime and deforestation in the protected areas. Since she became the community leader, she can communicate and she cooperate with the authority to protect from the illegal cutting the tree as well. And a lot of successful for her achievement. And another use how we protect our human resource, especially in terms of forestation. Many Cambodia during the lockdown, during the COVID pandemic, they spend a lot of time. They spend some time to adventure, and the community, as I mentioned, we call Phnom Sa. Phnom Sa is a beautiful mountain for adventure. We spend 5 hours to jogging to the top, and then we live there. Yes, we like the adventure. And this is the picture you can see, everyone. And for the monk, in Cambodian we respect the Buddhism, and the monk also involved in the protecting area as well. He make the tree to be a monk student. Therefore, the people that live in the local community, they believe in Buddhism, so they don't cut the tree when they see that close, because they think this is the monk student. We cannot touch it. If we touch it, their karma will come back to his family. This is the strategy of protecting our environment and our tree as well. And to come there, it's hard. We have to push our tractor. Yes, we ride the tractor, but we also push the tractor as well. Okay, this is the picture of the Phnom Sa. And Phnom Sa here, as I mentioned about Hon Sao, he is the community leader of that Phnom Sa. Many local community, and including Hon Sao as well, he was a lodger. But when the community, the tourists start to visit there, he turned to be a guide. He turned to be a protecting people, and he get trained from our government how to protect, how to keep our environment. And the tourists to visit there, even though we spend money in order to stress release, but under the scope of environmental protection as well. Yes, I have one video. Okay, hello everyone, and this is my end of presentation. Actually, Knong Sa, as I mentioned, that area is the cutting tree, the lodger, a lot of community, they cut tree for their daily spending. However, since the tourists come to visit there, they convert themselves to be a guide, and then the forest and the wildlife has to be protected. And thank you. If you have any question, yes, please.
Okay, thank you so much to Mr. Sam, who already gave the explanation and also showed the video of the forest in Cambodia, which is also very important for the tourism, for the local people around. Okay, thank you so much. Okay, afterwards, maybe there's a question from the participants. Okay, from Albert Najuan. So how the Cambodia government guarantee the indigenous people rights in maintaining in the forest area? Is it impacted to industrial business in forest areas? Okay, to Mr. Sam, maybe you can answer it directly.
Yeah, thank you for this question. Actually, we have a Cambodian government also divide into the part. It means the area, some protected area, we cannot touch it, we cannot develop it. It is the belong to the community. The community has gained a lot of income, a lot of economic development, and a lot of in terms of social welfare based on their tourists, based on their income in terms of being a guide as well. So the protection area, the government not allow any development to go there. However, in other place, yes, we welcome for industrial business. Therefore, it's not affect to the local community. And also we have a place for the industrial development as well. Okay.
Okay, thank you so much to Mr. Sam. Okay, I hope that the answer of Mr. Sam can answer it. Okay, thank you. Yeah, because of maybe because of the indigenous people are protected by the government, so like the tourists cannot go freely there. There should be some rules and the policies to go there, so they cannot just destroy or just disturb or disturb the indigenous people because they have their own areas. Thank you so much to Mr. Sam who already given the explanation, and thank you so much again and again, and I hope that gonna be really insightful and beneficial for all of us regarding to our topic today for the environmental situation. Thank you so much to Mr. Sam. Okay, we are moving forward to the next session. It is the last speaker from Indonesia. Okay, for Mr. Rudy Kogoya, the time is yours.
Thank you, Eva. Am I audible?
I'm sorry, we cannot hear your voice clearly. Your voice is very low. It is the last speaker from India. Okay, for Mr. Rudy Kogoya, the time is yours.
Mr. Bianchi, if you have anything to okay, yes, okay, thank you, Mr. Bianchi, for sharing your thoughts. Okay, but for the first, I probably want to explain again that here I just explain my perception as a student of international relations regarding the issues of environment. So as the main topic that we are going to talking about here is forest and peatland restoration in the midst of environmental action, and I would specify it into regulation and environmental protection in Indonesia, especially peatlands and primary forest. Okay, Mr. Jani, it's like okay, and for the outline, I will deliver about peatlands and primary forest. And there was recently peatlands can be managed indiscriminately, and then government regulation on peatlands. And the next slide there. Okay. Yes, and then for the next outline, I will jump into primary forest in Indonesia and government regulation on primary forest, right for forest in Indonesia, job deal applies in Indonesia. So that's all my outline. Maybe I will get into the discussion. If you can next slide. Okay. Yes. Okay, and maybe before we uh, talking about the introduction first about peatlands. So peatlands are terrestrial woodland ecosystem in which water level conditions prevent plant material from fully decomposition. Consequently, the production of organic matter exceeds its decomposition, which results in a net accumulation of waste. So maybe it's the definition that I get from peatland Org about what it is peatland. And the next there is primary forest. Primary forest, or in Indonesia we call hutan primer, is a forest that has reduced advanced age and certain structural characteristics, process properties, unique in general. Yes, please. Okay, let's continue about primary forest. So primary forest is a forest that has reached advanced age and certain structural characteristics according to its maturity. And those possesses properties ecologically unique. Like in general, primary forests contain trees, alert, and long leaf alternate with dead red trunks, last standing stumps, and fallen logs. So the college of the logs usually form gates and clumps for stands, which allow the enter of sunlight to the forest floor and stimulate the growth of understory vegetation. And okay, the next I will talking about peatland utilization in Indonesia. Page, yes, brother. Okay, about peatland utilization in Indonesia. Indonesia has 14.95 million hectares of peatlands, but unfortunately, only 44.6 of them have been degraded due to land fires, mismanagement, and mining. As a result, land productivity decreases and or is completely unproductive and neglected. Despite being degraded, and they made peatlands actually have a very good potential for development. Like the community can use cultivating plantation crops like oil palm, rabi, as well as for the benefit of food crops such as planting soybeans, corn, cassava, rice, sweet potatoes, and others. And peatland also can be used for cultivating horticultural crops such as banana, pineapple, jackfruit, melons, orange, and others, as well as vegetable crops such as tomatoes, spinach, mustard greens, kale, and others. Uh, Although it has good management potential, managing peat should not be done carelessly. The reason is it actually causes bad effects that harm ecosystem and human as a whole. Therefore, the government has made regulations for the use of peatlands that must be obeyed. Okay, well, for the next slide. Indiscriminately. So for the first reason, maybe the peatlands have the ability to store large amounts of water while protecting against flooding. This area is also able to maintain the availability of clean water supply, so it is very important to maintain it. However, storehouse from over thousands of years. In the peat layer, there is a large amount of carbon dioxide because the peat forest does have capability of the storing CO2 from being released at the atmosphere. Unfortunately, the method to peatlands has the risk and causing the greenhouse effect. This has contributed greatly to the occurrence of global warming, which is now getting worse. And also, there is deforestation and forest fires are now major threats, are also accompanied by forest conversion, so that the peat forest ecosystem is decreasing. And the last, maybe there is a drying that will make the groundwater level lower. The dry peat will, the dry peat layer will then undergo decay and at the same time release the carbon layer slowly but continuously. So it maybe had a bad side for the next slide. In the next slide, I will talking about the regulation, government regulation on peatland. Maybe the first speaker, Peter Research, he already mentioned about all the laws and regulations that exist in Indonesia. But here I would like to explain something about the Constitution or Undang-Undang 1945, which has no precisely concerning about the peatland, such as the law number 5 of 1990 concerning conservation of biological resources and their ecosystems, and there is also law number 41 of 1999 concerning forestry, and law number 39 of 2040 concerning plantation. And now we come into government regulation. In the government regulation, they explain it precisely about peatland, like in 2014 concerning protection and management of peat ecosystem. I think this law really this law is really important to the protection of our environmental, especially peatlands. So they could be sustainable and live. Okay, for the in the next slide, I will talking about primary. Okay, so as you see the data over there, where with top 10 countries with the high loss of primary forest. Maybe the first speaker already mentioned it. Indonesia located in the fourth places, where it is really what is called right? Because the protection of the primary forest is totally needed. As in previous years, deforestation driven by commodity production is a major cause of tree cover loss, both in primary and secondary trees. In Latin America, the Southeast Asia, meanwhile, silting cultivation is the main cause of the tree loss in tropical Africa. In addition, fires and other both in tropical and beyond. Maybe in Indonesia we face many forest fires, so that's probably it's the biggest problem, the biggest source of problems for the primary forest in Indonesia. Maybe for the next slide. Even though it has even though the data shows about reducing of the reducing of, you still see here various national and local initiatives appears to have a long-term impact in reducing primary forest loss. Can you see the data over there where uh, the primary forest, like in the 2002 until 2010, where it faced many decrease in forest loss. Because in Indonesia, its Ministry of Environment and Forestry set up efforts to monitor and prevent fires, because government temporarily held the insurance of new permits for oil palm conservation of primary forest and peatland. Maybe you all already know about the deforestation and massive deforestation in Papua, where it occurred caused by massive plantation of palm oil, where the scale of South Korea's capital city Tokyo. I think it is really massive. That has already happened in Papua. And next slide. Okay. And for the next slide, I will explain about the challenge. So the challenge that caused by job bill or RUU Cipta Kerja. And since the first time of its applying of its discussion of the law, it has not for opinion from the civil organizations or get many rejections and get many comments about beneficial for the people, because it's only think about the investment or investor. And also in the our incremental protection, there will be around 10 problems that will caused by the law. So as I get from forestdigest.com, where it identifies 10 changes to articles in law number 32 of 2009 concerning environmental protection and management that have the potential to be weakening. Then it only took this identification and interpreted it from the next of the job creation bill, as it because it was not aware of the discussion and debate behind the birth of the draft. Like I mentioned before, the draft is not involve any discussion from these organizations, etc. And because of that, for the first side that he commented is about Article 1.22 about environmental management efforts and environmental management. So it no longer required as part of the decision-making process for business operation permit, as stated in Article 1.22. And also there is Article 1, number 35 concerning the obligation of industry to obtain environmental permit is removed and changed to environmental approval. And the third, there is Article 1.35, where 9 business criteria with significant impact were removed because of this law. And in the fourth, there is in the amendment to Article 24. In the Article 24, apart from appointing certified institutions and or expert, the government can conduct its own environmental feasibility test, which is based on environmental impact analysis document or AMDA to GTF. And the 5 problems is located in Article 26 before it was amended. So in the preparation of the AMDAL, only those who are affected are allowed to be involved in the preparation of the AMDAL. There are no longer environment and all people who are affected are stated. And in the sixth, there is a removing of Articles 29, 30, and 31. So it is about regarding the assessment commission for activities that require to meet the standard. The central government immediately issues a ability to manage the environment. And the seventh, there is Article 39 of the UPLH, Chapter, and there is also the Chapter 12, Articles 72 to 75, and the 9 such administrative sections are abolished by amending Article 76. And the last, there is Article 93 of the UPLH. Can we brother the next slide? Oh, okay, next. Okay, so maybe that's before I end my discussion. There is a documentation titled "The Mouses." Maybe it's produced by Watchdog, Blue Expedition in Indonesia, which is published in 2015, 28 2015, where it explains or it's filming about the land grabbing where it causes many social impacts and cultural impacts on the people. As we know, maybe we can discuss this more about the environmental and the law to protect the research. Thank you. If there's any questions, I will. And for us, I'm sorry for my presentation that maybe not so clear.
Okay, thank you for Mr. Lee for your presentation. I think Ms. Tifa have another issue with the connection, so I will back up her. And now we are enter to the Q&A session, guys. If you have any question about all the speaker presentation, please write down to the chat box, and all the speakers will be answered uh, all your questions. So I think if you have directly questions, you also can raise your hand, and maybe you can directly to open your audio or video, and you can ask the speakers directly. Yeah, we give 3 questions from the participants. Is there any question?
Okay, maybe.
Okay, we'll see. Yes, please.
Yes, for it's very important also for agriculture. You know, agriculture is our needing because we need food. It's like our food security, and it's also one of the causes of the degradation of the forest. And how do you overcome like because of the agriculture is one of the impact, the bad output of degradation. How do you overcome in the agricultural way that is not giving the bad impact to degradation of the forest? Like, is there another way for agriculture to avoid
Yes, I think Miss Tifal has another issue with the connection. So I think uh, I get some point about her questions. I think this question addressed to Mr. Samsopik from Cambodia, and also if Mr. Rudy or Mr. Ruben have same interest to answer the questions, please I give time. But for the first time, I give this for Mr. Samsopik to answer the question. Hello, Mr. Samsopik.
Yes, I'm here.
Yeah, please. You hear the questions?
I'm not sure what is the question. Could you repeat it again?
Okay, I think the point is how about the agriculture existence to protect the forest area is uh, is it works? Maybe Miss Tifal or also write down to the chat box the questions is.
Okay, sorry for the bad connection. Maybe I'm just gonna directly ask the question. So, as agriculture is one of the bad output for forest degradation, as the speakers already explained us that forest is a very important even for food security. You know, agriculture also utilize the forest for the food production. And it is the bad output, the bad impact of the forest, like it causes the degradation. And how do you think how to overcome? So there's no degradation because of the agriculture. Is there another way to solve this problem? But at the same time, agriculture is very important for our life too. Thank you.
Okay, please, Mr. Samsopik, you can answer it.
Yes, actually, in Cambodia, there are some people that cultivate the land to do agriculture. But however, and that time they also use the chemical product to plant their rice, to plant their to farm like cassava or rubber, and then the soil or the land was destroyed from time to time. However, and Cambodian government and corporate and especially NGO also go to train the farmers how to plant correctly and how to plant with in terms of natural protection as well. And another way to cultivate the land to do agriculture is not allowed anymore because of those, as I mentioned before, some area they cannot touch it, even though the people, even though the businessmen, if we touch it, there will be illegal and they will be prison them. Therefore, the people, also the farmer, they must think how to do agriculture correctly as well, and they cannot cultivate any land like the past. Okay.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Samsovic, for your answer. And I have another other question from participants. This comes from Miss Gli Arfia. Sorry if I'm wrong. Okay. The question is, wait. I want to ask about why some Indonesians are not aware of the importance of developing forest restoration programs and policies, while they really like to cut down and take advantage of the proceeds from debt. Does this also have anything to do with character education or other things? Thanks. I think these questions addressed to Indonesian speakers, maybe from Mr. Rudy or Mr. Luben can answer. Please want to answer first? Maybe Mr. Rudy. Yeah. Please, Mr. Rudy.
Yes, I will answer the question about does this also have anything to do with character education or other things like that? Yes, I think yes, it is because education is the most crucial part in helping the environment because we cannot do anything if we don't know what it is, okay? And if we don't know how important the environment for us, how crucial it is for our generation, and also it is about the regulation also, I think, because as the first speaker already mentioned, we have a lot of regulations, but we, the politicians, have no political will to do it. Okay, like what I mentioned before in my presentation is about the job creation bill or RUU Cipta Kerja, where many instrumentalists, many environmental organization has rejected the law because in its discussion, the government didn't open a discussion for them, or it is has no participation from the civil society. So that is why it is really contrary when we still have a lot of regulations, but we have no political will and also more knowledge about the environmental. And also in Indonesia, I think we should protect the indigenous people because yeah, without them, maybe forest cannot be so protected well like today. Indigenous people have their own way to protect the environment, the forest. So that is why we have to provide regulation and also political will to accommodate them and also to help them to understand better about environment. I think that's for me.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Rudy, for your questions. Maybe Mr. Lubendi can answer or
Okay, thank you, Jian Lee, and thank you also for the question. Actually, I agree with Bang Rudy, yeah. Rudy Kogoya, okay. Yeah, the economic interest is higher than the awareness of the environment in Indonesia. And yeah, like Bang Rudy has said about the job creation, yeah, and because Indonesia has many population and many unemployment also in Indonesia, so everything that can get the money, so they can choose, they can put it in the first place. Then the awareness of the how we can manage our environment. Okay, and the second one, yeah, I also agree about the political interest of the government that can issue the regulation to manage these forest and also the environment in Indonesia, and this is also has to be followed by the law enforcement. Yeah. If the regulation only, I think is not enough. So the law information has to be followed to the regulation that has been issued by the government, both the national government and also the local government. And the third one, yeah, of course, the education also become the next factor, yeah, to the young generation to love their environment, to become aware about their forest and also their peatland, mangrove, and many things of the environment issues. And it should be started even in the kindergarten, yeah, and also the kindergarten also. Yeah, I think that's the three factor that should be implemented by the Indonesian government. Yeah, the education campaign, the law enforcement, and also the political will of the government. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for the answer, Mr. Luben. I think the question is answered. So we continue to the next questions from the other participants. This is come from Mr. Albert. The question I think addressed to Cambodian speaker, Mr. Samsupik. Yeah, the question is there any threats for the forest in Cambodia? The forest still maintained, is the forest still maintained by the society? And how the guidelines for regulation for infrastructure development in Cambodia so that it does not have direct impact on forest destruction or burning? Yeah, I think Mr. Samsovik to.
Yes.
Yeah,
wow, that's a tough question. Okay, thank you. Actually, there is a still threat to the forest in Cambodia as well. For the rural area people, as I mentioned, they burn the tree to be the charcoal to sell. It is their business. And some, they cut the tree to build a house, to be furniture in their house as well. Therefore, it is threat. However, and also the illegal business, yeah, it could be that. I mean, they cut the tree to be the business. And however, if the community that convert to be a tourist, you cannot touch it. You cannot go and cut the tree. If you go cut the tree, authority don't do anything, but the people, the local people will cut you and punish you or make something bad for you because they live because of the forest. And if you cut the forest, that you will get punishment or something from the local community. And also our authority also punish them because we have a law as well. So it still has some threat, but if for the location that is in the local community or the protected area, yes, we cannot. Okay, you get it?
Okay, that's all, Mr. Samsopik.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, this is there any question from the floor from all the participants? Maybe you can drop your questions to the chat box and I will help you to read your questions. Okay. Is there no questions? So I think yeah, if there are no questions from the floor, I will give to Miss Aprilia to continue the agenda. To Miss Aprilia, please.
Hello? Hello? Could you hear my voice?
Yes.
Okay. Finally, we come to the end of ICYIP Season 9. And then before we end this webinar, we will listen the closing remarks from Mr. Janley. Time is yours.
Okay, thank you, Miss Aprilia, for this opportunity. Once again, on behalf of International, I'm really happily appreciate to all the speakers who joined this webinar, especially for our keynote speaker, Mr. Lubendik Sigaling King. Thank you for coming and for your sharing and for your presentation. Many insightful and knowledge for us to understanding all the environment and peatland issues maybe uh, in Indonesia specifically, and then how we use the uh, information and or something new from your presentation. I think we can make as the benefit for us to facing this issue in our countries, especially in Indonesia. And also to our Cambodian speaker, Mr. Sam Sopik, we are so thankful for your uh, time and your availability to join us as the Cambodian speakers. We are so really appreciated. And then hopefully your valuable and insight sharing with us by your presentation can give us more knowledge and benefits in facing this issue, especially in Cambodia. And the last but not least, our third speaker come from Indonesia as the Indonesian speakers too. We are so really appreciate it to Mr. Rudy. Thank you for your availability to join as the speakers in this session. Hopefully, what all the speakers shared in this afternoon can uh, give more benefits for us, and we can fighting or facing this issue together by give more understanding about the problems and this issue. And then I would like to thank you very much to all the committee from Ruang International, both Miss Tifal as the moderator, Miss Aprilia as the master of ceremony, and all the participants who are joining this webinar session. Hopefully, by this webinar, we can be more interactive with cross countries between Cambodia and Indonesia. And we are looking forward for any collaboration or maybe any joint project together. And then we also prepare for the e-certificate to all participants, and you can wait the email from us to your email directly. And don't forget, if you don't already filling out the attendance confirmation, please make sure you have filling that form. So I think that's all from me from Wrong International. Once again, thank you so much, and I give this time to Miss Master of Ceremony, Miss April.
Thank you to Mr. Janely for giving us the closing remarks. And then, well, everyone, thank you so much to stay here. Now we will take a picture together. And please to turn on your camera and give your best smile.
Okay, I try to invite all the participants to open your video, and we will take a photo session together. Maybe Miss Risky or Miss Diva, Miss Arnanda, Mr. Juliakin, Mr. Seth, Mr. Afriandi, or three. Okay, I think that's all. Wait, I try to make wait. Yeah, I think that's all. Has already open camera, and I will take the photo. So keep smile. Both Miss Afriandi. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. 1, 2, 3. Again. 1, 2, 3. Wait. Yeah, the last. 1, 2. Wait. Okay. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Thank you all for your time.
Thank you.